Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Packers Post-Game Show on Game On Wisconsin. My name is MJ Hurley. You can follow me on MJ Hurley Sports on Twitter. And welcome to the Packers Post-Game Show presented by RTEC Ventures. The goal at RTEC Ventures is to collaborate closely with founders throughout all the investment and fundraising stages, turning visions into successful companies. Since 2020, RTEC Ventures has helped turn great ideas into profitable businesses that make an impact on industries, communities, and beyond. So thank you to RTEC Ventures for sponsoring the show. Well, it was quite the interesting day today. Needless to say, I am not happy. That is my general message that I have for people right now. I'm a little pissed off, and I think most Packers fans are as well. We lost 38-3 to the New Orleans Saints today. The only positive that I have for you is that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last year lost 38-3 to the New Orleans Saints. It was like in the middle of the year. It wasn't opening day, but they lost 38-3 to the Saints last year, and they won the Super Bowl. So just ponder that for a moment. But overall, this is legitimately the worst football game that I've seen from the Green Bay Packers in my entire time being a Packers fan, because this is the biggest loss that the Packers have had since Aaron Rodgers became the starting quarterback. So he became the quarterback when I was 8 years old, and this is the worst loss that the Green Bay Packers have had that entire time. So I don't even know really where to start, what to say. First thing to bring up, that was fun, but preseason's over. Who's ready for the regular season? The only thing I can possibly come up with was that in Aaron Rodgers' mind, this was not yet the regular season because there's 17 games now instead of 16. There used to be 4 preseason games, and now there's 3. So maybe, even though Aaron Rodgers didn't play in the preseason, maybe he thought that this was the last preseason game, and he was just out there kind of chilling, doing whatever. The biggest thing that I saw today, and just to start with a little bit of an offensive breakdown, was that the Green Bay Packers did not look just at all like the team they were last year. And you may be saying, MJ, that's pretty obvious. They were really bad. They weren't bad last year. That is true. But for me, the biggest difference was the lack of motion. The motion looked very half-hearted. It was not very purposeful. Rodgers didn't really seem to be changing anything based off of the motion of MVS going across the formation, Davante Adams going across the formation. To me, it didn't look any different than just your basic high school offense motion. They didn't get those people involved. Kylan Hill was not involved. I really wanted him to be involved in that motion because, yes, you have Davante Adams going across the formation, but he's not going to get the ball. Nobody has to respect that. So to me, the lack of motion and the lack of the quick hitters, Rodgers only threw, as far as I remember, he only threw one quick hitter to Davante Adams. Davante made a play, got 7 or 8 yards, and to me, it was Aaron Rodgers trying to do too much. The thing that drives me the most crazy is after an offseason where we have been held hostage by Aaron Rodgers, that is the only thing that we were allowed to talk about for months was Aaron Rodgers. Is he going to play? Is he going to retire? Are we going to trade him? Should we trade him? Is he better than Jordan Love still, depending on the offense and what assets we can get? He was the only thing that we were even allowed to talk about, because if you talked about anything else, first of all, you didn't really get any views because that was the biggest storyline. But, that's all any fan wanted to discuss. So after holding the organization, the fan base, anybody who has a share up on their wall, after holding them hostage from April to the end of July, this is the first football game we see Aaron Rodgers play after basically saying, this is my last season. You compare yourself to Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, Rodgers and Adams did, and then this is the first performance that you provide. I don't even have words for what happened today. 38-3. It was absolutely terrible. But something I am interested in is what Sean Payton was able to do with Jameis Winston. Just to look at the Saints for a moment. there was something said during the broadcast. I think Joe Buck said it, which, I also had to listen to Joe Buck talk during this game. Really? Joe Buck and Troy Aikman love hating on the Packers anyway, and then they lose 38-3. That just makes me sad. But Joe Buck mentioned the Saints have been 8-2 in the last 2 years when Drew Brees was out. So everybody, including myself, were saying that the Saints were not going to be as good this year with Jameis Winston and or Taysom Hill at the helm instead of Drew Brees. But what the Saints were able to do today with Marshawn Lattimore hurting, a lot of players on the offensive and defensive side that were out. Will Lutz was out. So they had a lot of missing pieces. First game without Drew Brees. They're playing in Jacksonville instead of at the Superdome at home. The tragedy of Hurricane Ida that hit New Orleans. They had to go practice in Dallas, go play in Jacksonville. And the New Orleans Saints were more prepared than the Green Bay Packers. Matt LaFleur said it himself just now in the post-game press conference that he just did not get his guys ready to play. And you saw it. The Saints were immediately playing faster. They had the ball for 11 of the 15 minutes in the first quarter. Once you get absolutely destroyed in that Jacksonville humidity, in that Jacksonville heat, there's only so much you can do to catch up. And the Green Bay Packers, especially under Matt LaFleur, are a team that cannot play from behind. No matter what's going on. Why am I such a Buck and Aikman hater? Listen, that's a story for another day. We're talking about the Packers right now. That was just a side comment. Jake, don't get too picky on me. But no matter the situation, whether it's even down 7, for some reason, LaFleur and Rodgers try to score all of the points that they are down at once. It's like the power hitter when they're down 4 and he's nobody on base, nobody out. Power hitter in baseball, cleanup hitter, tries to hit a grand slam. There's only so much you can do. You need to get rhythm. You need to get the entire team going. Offensively and defensively, we were absolutely not there. They didn't run the football. The entire Matt LaFleur, Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay offense is based off of running the football and the play action. So when on 4th and 2, Aaron Rodgers tries to go play action and then throw it to Mercedes Lewis, who falls down, well, yeah, the play falls apart because the Saints are laughing at the fact that you're going to run the football. They knew the Packers were not going to run the football. So you have a situation where the Packers were not sticking to their offense. They were not doing what they needed to be doing offensively, and it just screwed them. Defensively, let's talk about this real quick. And this is something that I was seeing just kind of across Packers Twitter throughout this game, hating on Joe Barry right away. Don't get me wrong. I was one of the people who wasn't thrilled with the hire because, in my opinion, the Packers did not have the personnel to really do what Joe Barry would want to do with the high-flying, high-speed, high-energy defense. We don't have good linebackers. We have pretty good edge rushers. We have an okay defensive interior past Kenny Clark, and we have one very good corner. We have very good safeties, but there's only so much that Adrian Amos and Darnell Savage can do, right? So you have a defense led by Joe Barry, who really just schematically is not able to do what I think Joe Barry wanted them to do. That's first and foremost. However, the people I've been seeing across Packers Twitter in the last few hours who are calling for Joe Barry's head already, calling for him to be fired, saying he never should have gotten the job in the first place. Listen, there's a reason Joe Barry got the job as the defensive coordinator for the Green Bay Packers. There's a reason that Matt LaFleur was so excited to have him in the building. There's a reason that the Packers defenders were so excited to have him in the building. Idealistically, there is a very good chance that Joe Barry can improve this Packers defense by the end of the 2021 NFL season compared to where they were in the NFC Championship game last year against the Bucs. It is something that takes time. It was the same thing with the beginning of the Matt LaFleur and Aaron Rodgers relationship. You had to give them time to actually get used to the system. These guys have been playing in the Mike Pettin system for the last few years. Different language, completely different concepts, a lot more freedom, a lot more high speed, a lot more rotation, and a lot more positionless football. That's something the Packers are not used to, so you got to give them a little bit of a chance. You got to give Joe Barry a chance because realistically, this Packers defense is not going to be what wins us a championship. if we do. It has to be Aaron Rodgers. Now today, neither of them were on par. Neither of them were good. But the only solace that I hold real quick is the NFC North was absolutely terrible today. The Vikings lost in overtime to the Bengals in a game where neither team really wanted to win. They were just trying to hand the victory back and forth to each other. I realistically thought it was going to end in a tie. The Vikings lost in overtime to the Bengals 27-24. And then the Lions, for the majority of the game against the 49ers, got absolutely smacked. They got just destroyed for the majority of that game. Jared Goff made a little bit of a comeback. And, for a bit of time, it looked like they might make it a game. They had the ball down 8 at the end of the game. Jared Goff couldn't make it happen. No surprise there. So the Lions lost as well. The Bears are playing the Rams tonight. And I don't want to make any predictions now because I said that the Packers were going to win very easily. I also had the Texans getting destroyed tonight. Like, realistically, I have no idea what's going to happen tonight with the Bears, but everything on paper says that the Chicago Bears should lose tonight. So assuming they do, the NFC North just got absolutely destroyed on week 1 of the NFL season, and it's slightly entertaining. But just to look, there are a couple storylines specifically that I want to discuss. Number 1, Randall Cobb had 0 targets from Aaron Rodgers. So again, kind of to go back to the whole holding the organization hostage, not even giving us a chance to discuss anything else. You now bring in Randall Cobb, basically force the Green Bay Packers to trade for Randall Cobb, and you don't even target him in the first game. Now, I understand Amari Rodgers is basically faster and more talented at this point than Randall Cobb is, but I thought Aaron Rodgers was the guy who's all about trust. He's all about, the organization needs to trust me more. I need to trust my guys. I need to be able to trust my guys to go out there and perform at the best that I can. But then he doesn't throw to Randall Cobb. Honestly, and I hate saying this, Aaron Rodgers looks like he was possessed by the spirit of Brett Favre today. And that is something that if you are a Packers fan, it should absolutely terrify you. The fact that Aaron Rodgers did whatever he did this offseason, I don't even know. We're probably never going to know. There's some more details in the Aaron Andrews interview today. But the fact that Aaron Rodgers did what he did and then doesn't target Randall Cobb, like even just on the premise, even just on the principle of the thing, throw the guy the ball at least once. But instead, he's throwing flip passes places, trying to get Aaron Jones. He did it once successfully, and when he did it, I thought that looks like Brett Favre. That scares me. Please don't do that. And then the second time he did it, it gets picked off. And then basically his strategy today seemed to be, if I don't know what to do with the football, I'm just going to chuck it deep. MVS is probably there. And I love MVS with all my heart. Obviously, at Game On Wisconsin, we're very tight with MVS. Love him to death. But he's not a safety blanket. He's not Superman. He's not going to catch everything that you throw in the vicinity of him. And I knew today that we were screwed when Big Bob Tunyon dropped a pass. He did not drop a single target in the entire 2020 season. And the first pass thrown to him in 2021 bounces right off his hands. That was perfectly in his wheelhouse. He just dropped it and looked at the ground. And I tweeted right away, I'm like, I don't know what's going on in Jacksonville. We were down 3-0 at that point, and Big Bob Tunyon dropped a pass. And that's just unacceptable. That does not happen. And okay, let's talk about this. Jake, possessed by a Hall of Famer. Yes. But Brett Favre, there's a reason Brett Favre didn't win more championships. Because he did some stupid things. And that is that's been the entire point behind Aaron Rodgers being one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, is he doesn't make stupid mistakes. But now you have both Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady in week 1 of the NFL season throwing 2 interceptions. Things I never thought I would see. It's impossible to get a team enthused when the QB tells the world he's not happy. This is something that I absolutely agree with. You have so much drama during the off. Aaron Rodgers doesn't inherently need the preseason, right? He doesn't inherently need camp. But the most important thing is how the team works together. How when you don't have that chemistry that Aaron Rodgers needs with his receivers, it's not going to go well. So it frustrates me that Aaron Rodgers caused all this drama, and then this is the first game we see. So, am I freaking out about the entire season? Okay, maybe a little bit. I don't know who said it on Packers Twitter today, but somebody basically said, I think it was Tim, if you don't have a little bit of pessimism about this season after watching that game today, then I don't even know what to tell you. But yes, you got poor play calling. You have a team who is unenthused. There are so many things that went wrong today that I don't even I am mad. And for those of you who don't know me well, I don't normally get angry over football, especially because I'm a college student. I'm trying to go into covering football. So unless I'm doing something like this, I don't necessarily get vocally angry about a football game. While I'm watching the game, I've been a fan of the Packers my whole life. I'll be like, oh, dang it. Oh, that's a terrible call. Which, by the way, hold up. We're going to talk about this real quick. That play call, or that roughing the passer call on Zadarius Smith. Like, people were comparing it to the Clay Matthews call a few years ago against the Vikings. It's not even close to that, because that Clay Matthews call was when the NFL decided to say, okay, what Matthews did was he landed on the quarterback with all of his weight. That's what you can't do. Zadarius Smith essentially ran really fast up to Jameis Winston, hit him hard, and then caught him in the air, put a pillow behind his head, and laid him gently on the ground. Well, Jameis Winston proceeded to throw an interception, and then the referees bail him out after Darnell Savage picks him off in the end zone. So just another awful thing in the day when, realistically, the Packers were already screwed. But just to have that, we had a little bit of hope. It was like, 24-3 at that point, I want to say. Hypothetically, you get a touchdown. It's a 2-score game. Who knows in the NFL? But when you just get screwed by the officials after getting screwed by the Saints for 3 quarters, that is just completely and utterly demoralizing. That is the best word to describe this game. The only positive that I can even think about discussing is the Packers punter. I just want to let that sink in, that the Packers game was so bad that I'm going to talk about the Packers punter. So my man, Corey, anybody who knows me, Jake's in here, anybody who knows me knows that I openly disliked J.K. Scott. I will always give the disclaimer when I'm hating on a football player. I don't hate them as a person. I just dislike the way that they perform on the field. And J.K. Scott performed very poorly on the football field sometimes. So the Packers went so all in this offseason that they traded for a punter. They traded with the Rams, and they traded for Corey. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name because I'm going to butcher it. And today he 4 punts, 176 yards combined, average of 44 yards a punt. Honestly, he did very well. And that was the only bright spot, is that he did not completely shank a punt. Now let's think about that. The Green Bay Packers were in the 2020 NFC Championship game and were really close to dethroning Tom Brady and going to the Super Bowl. And in week 1, the best thing that I can think of to talk about, the only silver lining, the only highlight, is the Packers punter. Mason Crosby hit a field goal. Proud of him. I think it was his 31st straight field goal hit inside of 50 yards, which is very impressive. Don't get me wrong. But that's the only thing that we had to talk about. Kylan Hill messed up a kick return. He dropped it right at the goal line, so he couldn't take a touchback. He had to return it. It was a terrible return. Amari Rogers returned one punt for 17 yards. Whoopee, not crazy about that. The thing that really pisses me off is in my fantasy league that I really care about. I have Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams as a stack. They won me my fantasy league last year, and they absolutely screwed me over today. I don't even want to look at what my fantasy league looks like, especially that one, because that one was bad. I also had a massive parlay today. I didn't bet a lot of money, but it was a bunch of legs. And the only two legs that screwed me over on that parlay were the Green Bay Packers and the Houston Texans. I did not think on my bingo card of things that would happen in the NFL week 1 that the Packers would lose and Tyrod Taylor and the Houston Texans would dethrone the Clemson Golden Boy Trevor Lawrence. I have no words for that. So I don't even know. Imagine stacking Rodgers Adams over Mahomes Kelsey. Listen, you are absolutely correct on that. I should not have done it realistically, but it won me my league last year, and I'm a Packers fan, and I'm a homer, and Jake knows that I have weird opinions and weird specificities that I like. So I had to do it. I just had to do it. The only other huge storyline that I really want to discuss is our number 2 corner situation. This has been a sensitive situation. We drafted Eric Stokes, very speedy corner out of Georgia. It was our first round pick in the 2021 NFL draft. I was there for it. It was a great time. I was very excited for it. I was a little mad given the situation because earlier that day, Rodgers said he wanted to go to Denver, basically. So I was upset that day to begin with. Then we draft Eric Stokes. Hallelujah. Kevin King is gone. And then even after being injured the whole preseason and not playing, the Packers still start Kevin King. And immediately you see Deontay Harris, who is essentially for years been the Saints' Devin Hester. He's not a good route runner. Like, he's even worse than MVS was when he first came into the league, where he can only run fly routes. And Kevin King gets beat deep by Deontay Harris. Kevin King gets beat deep on multiple 20-yard out routes where he's not even pressing. They gave so much cushion underneath, and so much of it comes back to Kevin King that it drives me absolutely crazy. I don't know the numbers on targets against Jair Alexander. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see some of the PFF grades that come out tomorrow. I know Jair is going to look at that. But just on a base level, it drives me absolutely crazy that you have such an incredibly talented rookie corner and you're still starting Kevin King. It's going to be a long week with the Pack playing on Monday night. That is for sure. So just looking forward to next week, we have the Lions, I believe. I'm 99% sure that it's the Lions. Somebody tell me if it's not the Lions, because I am going to feel awkward if it isn't. But I'm pretty sure we play the Lions next week at Detroit. I really should know this better, given that this is what I'm doing for a living. But it's so hard to keep track of everything that's going on. Yes, we play at home against the Lions next week. So, honestly, game on party. Oh, hold up. There's realistically no way that I can get there because I work way too much. But game on party 1 week from today against Detroit at home. That is something I'm excited about. I'll have to Zoom in or be there virtually or something like that because I doubt I'll be able to get away from work. However, if we can't beat the Detroit Lions, I'm going to be very concerned for Green Bay Packers football moving forward. The Detroit Lions got absolutely thrashed by the San Francisco 49ers today by Trey Lance and Jimmy Garoppolo, and it was mostly Jimmy Garoppolo. Trey Lance threw a couple passes. I don't know how many he actually threw. His first NFL pass was a touchdown pass. So you have one of the easiest opponents to thrash at home. First home game of the season. You get to come back. You get an extra day to prepare. So I'm putting the Packers on notice. If you cannot win that football game against a team that Aaron Rodgers and Matt LaFleur specifically have destroyed, especially early in the year, then I will be extremely worried about the Green Bay Packers moving forward. I have some specific concerns, one of them being the motion, the lack of quick hitters in the offense. On the defensive side, too much cushion, not enough pass rush. We are way too content rushing 4, playing too high safety, giving too much cushion underneath in our zones. And I don't want Kevin King on the field covering anybody who even has a chance of catching the football, because Kevin King will let them and he will escort them into the end zone personally. Those are my biggest concerns moving forward. So looking ahead to next week against the Lions, I don't even know. I want to take a quick look. ESPN, their football power index, has us a 77% chance of winning that football game. The Packers open as 10.5-point favorites. Real quick, any questions from anybody watching? I've really enjoyed doing this. This is very fun. I do have to, in a few minutes, I'm going to hop off real quick because I have to go cover the Rams-Bears game because I'm also writing for the Rams site on Sports Illustrated. But before I hop off, for all the people who've been here, I appreciate the interaction. Any questions that we have from the guests? Lions scored 33 points getting thrashed. Yes, they did. In my opinion, a lot of that was garbage time points. I don't think that if the 49ers really played really hard the entire time that they would have allowed the Lions to score 33 points. That's just my personal opinion, obviously. But looking at the way that game played out, they were up by 25, 30 points at one point. San Francisco was. So in my opinion, I don't think that they are that the Lions are that much of a concern. In my preseason prediction article, I think I had them winning like 5 games this season. So personally, I'm not very worried about the Lions. However, I will give the same disclaimer that I gave at the beginning when I was talking about this game. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to think. I don't know how to predict anything moving forward. I think Aaron Rodgers and Matt LaFleur are in a very similar situation. They just did not expect what happened today. And the last proclamation I will make is Aaron Rodgers should never be allowed to play in Florida ever again. It never goes well. It's not a good thing when Aaron Rodgers plays in Florida, gets thrashed in Tampa. He gets destroyed. Just, I swear, every time he steps foot into that state. Florida and California doesn't go well. San Francisco, Tampa, now playing in Jacksonville, which obviously I appreciate, and shout out to the Jacksonville Jaguars for opening their home to the New Orleans Saints, who will be displaced for at least the next month, recovering from Hurricane Ida. But, man, you go on the road, not even really on the road because there were more Packers fans there, and just an absolutely embarrassing performance. So if you are a betting man or woman, I encourage you, honestly, to bet against the Packers next week, because what I saw today was very concerning, and it's indicative of a team that is too cocky. They're not prepared. Packers don't lose multiple games in a row under Matt LaFleur, but Aaron Rodgers does not seem like a man who wanted to be there. Even on the sideline today, he did not look like a man who was worried about losing. He did not look like a man who was frustrated about his performance today. So once again, I'm putting the Packers on notice. If you lose to the Detroit Lions next year or next week, that is something that I will be, you thought I was upset today, y'all. I will be livid next week if the Green Bay Packers lose their second straight game in 2021 to the Detroit Lions and Dan Campbell and his espresso and Jared Goff. That will absolutely piss me off. So with that, I appreciate everybody who has been here. I appreciate. Last comment I'll put on. Nope, that's not it. This loss lands directly on Jacob's shoulders. He just hired me, so I'm not going to say anything about that. Todd, you're a little bit more experienced, so you can say that. But I appreciate everybody watching. This has been the post-game show on Game On Wisconsin, sponsored by RTEC. I will be here every single week, other than next week. I will be at work. So next week, it'll be handled by some other wonderful people at Game On Wisconsin. But outside of that, I'll be handling the pre- and post-game show for Game On Wisconsin moving forward for the 2021 season. So get used to me. Get comfortable. We'll be here for whatever type of ride that we have going on. So I appreciate all of the interaction. I appreciate you guys tuning in for the last 30 minutes. My name is MJ Hurley. You can follow me at MJ Hurley Sports. And don't forget to follow Game On Wisconsin on all of our socials. With that, have a wonderful evening. Go watch the Bears lose. They still suck. They're going to get destroyed tonight. And I will see you guys in 2 weeks before and after the San Francisco game.